Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those tuning in to our online affiliates around the world, including our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. Glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome Gianni Capaldi to our program today to talk to him not only about his journey as an actor, but what it's been like for him to do work that he loves, and then, of course, be able to share that with all of us. Now, we've seen him in some amazing roles over the years. We're going to talk to him about that experience, what it's been like for him to see the way that his fans have followed him from project to project, but also let you guys know what he's expecting and excited about in 2021 as well. Gianni, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, great for having me on. Thanks.
You know, one of the things I noticed when I was prepping for your segment is not only, of course, the body of work you've been able to do, but how you've been able to use your platform. I want to talk to you more about that in a bit, about how you've raised awareness for causes that matter to you. But, Gianni, what has it been like for you to reflect on your career and the things that you've been able to achieve?
Listen, it's a very, very long journey. You know, it's never an overnight mission in life. You know, everything's a marathon in life, I believe, and anything that is fast will usually fall fast. So, you know, it's been an enjoyable, arduous journey, and you know, it just becomes a lifestyle, and you know, it grows hand in hand with you. It becomes like your shadow, if you know what I mean. So, you know, whatever you do, whether you get married, you have kids, you know, you move house, whatever, you move town, it's something that stays with you like a shadow. So,
yeah. The acting journey for you has been one, and I love the fact that you mentioned that it is a journey, right? This is a process. But the hard work has definitely paid off for you. Do you think that is why you have been able to achieve what you have, though, Gianni, because you've been willing to do the work?
Yeah, I think, you know, somebody once said to me, take 10 years for a career to take off in acting. And I used to think, that's crazy. 10 years? That's crazy. But the reality is it really does. It does. I mean, it takes that long. You know, you have ups and downs throughout. You know, I think COVID was the kind of biggest reset for everybody on the planet. But, yeah, I mean, you know, whether it's economic strains or whether it's, you know, trends, but yeah, it's got its ups, pros and cons, you know, but you've got to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy the ups and downs, then, you know, this is definitely not the career for you, and it's not the industry.
Right. Well, along the way, you've been able to work with some talented individuals as well. I mean, some that you're not only able to call your peers, but also your friends. What has that been like for you to work with people that are equally as passionate about the craft as you are?
You know, at first, I think like in 2010, 2011, when, like I think I did my first movie with Sony. You know, I was on set, and it was a movie with Michael Clark Duncan, you know, the late Michael Clark, who was a beautiful soul. You know, Vinnie Jones and Danny Trejo at the time, and, you know, among some others, Brian Austin Green. And, you know, I'm on a set, and I come from a little town in Scotland, and I'm suddenly, you know, thrust into this Hollywood scenario, and, you know, there we were shooting. And, you know, it's the guy that I grew up watching, or, you know, I've spent so much time, you know, following his career, and then suddenly I'm side by side, you know, working across from him. And it's definitely it's like a wake up call. And then it's strange, like after, you know, a couple of years, 2-3 years of doing it, everybody's, you know, you kind of lose that. And I think it's just one of those things that you kind of take it in your stride, and you look at them more as colleagues rather than who they were before. You know, you meet some wonderful people, you know, like in every movie you go to, you know, there's always someone that sticks out, you know.
Right.
and there's people in there that have amazing auras, guys like Morgan Freeman and even Michael Clark Duncan, as I said before. They had an aura about them that, I remember Michael praying with me before we did a scene together, and it was a beautiful moment, and you just have these little memories, and because an actor's life, it's I have 2 kids and married, but it's it can get lonely because you're always on the road.
Right.
Rarely do you film where you live. So for instance, right now my wife and 2 kids just flew to Scotland, and I'm here because I have work in Mississippi for 4 weeks, coming up in 3 weeks' time, and and then something else after, possibly in Bangladesh. So because you're away from home so much, that when you are working away, you tend to give more of a friendship, because you're looking for a companion when you're out there for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks somewhere, and a friend out there. So it's everybody's in the same boat, and hey, should we go get some dinner after work, or you want to get breakfast, or so there's a lot of camaraderie, and definitely in the industry.
I think that is such a great point, and I'm sure our Mississippi audience ears perked up when you said that about coming to Mississippi. I think there's a lot of great work that is definitely taking place in my home state, and it's great to know the individuals like yourself are being able to not only, of course, to see our state, but also to be a part of projects here. You mentioned Morgan Freeman, also a Mississippian, so it's a great reference to talk about the other work you've been able to do. You were with him with Wish Wizard, of course, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I brought up to you before we went on here, the other thing about you that impressed me so much is that you use your platform to raise awareness for causes that matter to you. Why has it been so important for you? I saw messages even on Twitter you'd posted, bringing attention to the plight of others and how we can help. Why has it been so important for you, Gianni, as you are doing your work, that you also are trying to make a difference?
Well, for me, everything is given to me through God, so it's nothing that I feel that I get on my own. So for me, if the Lord blesses me with something, if blesses me with even a small platform, then I should always use that platform for the greater good. And I feel that there's not enough voices out there in today's age. And I feel that we need to all do our bit, and if we can, it doesn't cost anything. It's so easy. It's just making an effort and making a conscious effort to get behind causes that you truly believe in, and try and raise awareness. If you can, so. Yeah.
I think that's a great reminder for all of us, I think, out there. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, who's on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Gianni Capaldi to our program today. We're talking to him not only about his acting journey, but what it's been like for him to do work that he loves, but also to share that with all of us. Social media, you referenced it earlier. We definitely want our audience to be able to follow you on Twitter and Instagram as well. Talk to us about that, especially in the age of COVID, Gianni. What has that been like for you to be able to use those platforms to stay connected with your audience?
I think it's important because people forget that, there's a lot of depression in the world after COVID and during COVID. Being locked up in a house, not being able to go to work, there's a lot of financial stress. And, sometimes it's just about checking in with people. Sometimes it's just about saying, how are you? How you doing? But really meaning how you doing. Not just, oh, how are you? Oh, great. It's some people need nudged a little bit, and it can make a big difference, and whether it's alcoholism or, drug abuse or any type of addiction that people get bored and they get fed up and, they're just depressed and they turn to substance for an answer, and I think it's sometimes important that, we take the time and we check in with people and, offering, I'm part of a charity that's actually based in Scotland. It's called the Celtic Foundation. And they did a massive drive for depression during this COVID, whatever you want to call it, crisis, where there were so many people locked up in their houses and no one to talk to, and so we kind of tried to find individuals or let individuals know that we're here for them if they want to talk, and then steer them in the right direction. Because I didn't know how to talk someone out of depression. So you always got to let them seek professional help. So they people that can actually deal with it. Sometimes you can make matters worse if you say the wrong thing, but something is better than nothing sometimes. So a little bit of hope, a little bit of light in the darkness. So, but yeah, so Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, they're all platforms that people see it. They're bored. They're in the house. They watch TV. They're on their social media. Now we can get out of our house, but going back 6-7 months ago, a year ago even, we were in strenuous lockdown conditions. So the only thing we had was our social media and TV.
Yeah.
So.
Such a great point, and I love the way that you're able to use it. I noticed, again, going back to social media, one of your recent projects that's getting a lot of attention, as you said, probably because we all are kind of, been isolating, is River Runs Red. I mean, a powerful project. What has that been like for you, especially this year, to see the way that people are gravitating to that film, and then, of course, being able to share their experience with it?
River Runs Red was a movie that I actually had a lot of enjoyment doing. It was actually shown in Louisville, and it was a very strong. We had the Black Lives Matter movement, so it was a very strong. It came out at the right time, kind of thing. It just came out, and then the Black Lives Matter thing hit, and then it did get a lot of attention because it was about the River Runs Red is basically a movie about a black judge played by Taye Diggs, and his son takes his car out, and I play this racist cop, and myself and my partner Luke Hemsworth, and I insist on pulling this kid over, see him in a fancy car, young black kid, and we pull him over, do the routine, and then, we think he was reaching for his gun, he was reaching for his wallet, and we shoot him, and, I end up, I don't want to give the story away, but, I plant a gun, and then, Taye Diggs seeks justice, and he finds out that there's been another incident involving myself with George Lopez's son. So, they go after justice. And, and it was very strange because for me, I grew up in Scotland, so we don't really have any form of that racism. So it was a whole new thing for me to really understand. I went to school. There wasn't one black person there, so coming to America, I just looked upon everybody just the same kind of thing. So, it wasn't I didn't have that upbringing at all or influence. Right. So, in doing the research for the character, a lot of most people, if they have any racist inclinations, they're underhanded, and I would go back and forth with a director who was black and say, no, there's no chance. The cop's not going to say that. And I go, yes, he does. Yes, he would. Yes, they do. They have, so I'm like, I just don't see, I don't, so it was trying to deliver a subtle racism. I think an underlying racism, I think, is always better. But, so it was a whole new social subject for me. So, and it's just, with the Black Lives Matter movement, when it initially came out, then obviously a lot of people jumped on the movie and thought that it was a great comparison with what was happening. So,
right.
So yeah, the Floyd guy, but
Yeah. Well, I think that, again, shows the range of characters you've been able to play as well, Gianni, as well. That brings us to this, then, as we were talking about social media and you're staying connected. What are you looking forward to this year? What is it our audience should be on the lookout for? I know you mentioned head into my home state, but what exactly are you looking forward to in 2021?
Well, I just finished a movie in Las Vegas last week. It was a movie called Demon Pit. It was a movie which was so much fun. Talking about making friends. It was with Randy Couture, Dean Cain, Michael Greco, Robert Davi, and Michael Madsen. That'll be a little fun project when nobody sees it. I did film 2 TV shows. One is called Salvage Marines, and the other one is called Paper Empire. Salvage Marines is sci-fi, and the full season's finished now, and I know it's on the network. And then the Paper Empire, I actually have to go back and finish because of COVID. Everything kind of shut down during the first season 1. But I'm looking forward to coming to your state. I've never been to Mississippi, and I will be there at the end of this month. And it's a movie called A Day to Die, and it's with Bruce Willis and Frank Grillo and myself, and it's the same director actually as River Run Dread. So I'm really excited because I have a really good relationship with that director when we're on set, But I've never worked with Bruce Willis before, and I've never seen Your Beautiful State before. So there's 2 things to definitely be excited about. So and that starts at the end of this month.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Congratulations to you, Gianni, on all the great things that you've been able to do. I know our audience can be able to find you, as we mentioned, here on social media, both on Instagram as well as on Twitter at Official Gianni is where you guys can find him there. So make sure that you guys do find him on, it's Official Gianni on Twitter. Official G Capaldi is where you guys can find him on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys, for those who are joining the podcast. And Gianni, it goes without saying, you are welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to having you back on the program.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, and stay safe.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you so much. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.